Well, I reviewed the hardcover itself. It's time to actually get into the comic. Young Avengers #1, Allan Heinberg, Cheung. This really put Cheung on the map. And it's 2010, 10 years ago. Hard to imagine 10 years ago, but this was a pretty bold new issue. It's Young Avengers #1. Hey everybody, this is Perch. This comic came kind of out of nowhere. Now remember, in 2010, they had not started the relaunch Bonanza, and the heroes were more or less protected. They weren't just spitting out these characters kind of with no notice, every other week. So when this title showed up, we had what looked like kind of younger versions of the actual Avengers. We had what looked like a youthified Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, and Hulk as the big kind of characters front and center in this comic. And certainly when we get right to page 1, who the blank are the Young Avengers, as a newspaper shows these 4 heroes saving some people out of a burning building. And so this is like a time capsule comic because it leads into a conversation. J. Jonah Jameson, he's running the Daily Bugle, beautifully illustrated. Again, Cheung is very early in his career and just looks incredible. So he's talking to Jessica Jones, and this is before Jessica Jones got kind of overused everywhere as well. And they're kind of speculating, who are these characters? Why are they, and who even called them the Young Avengers? And it was like, well, the newspaper labeled them that because they look like it. This kid they all kind of look like everybody. And it features a lot of dialogue. I mean, we get 4 pages of or 5 pages, 6 pages of back and forth of who are these characters, and they're trying to convince Jessica Jones to go check it out because she used to be a teen hero jewel, and so it's interesting because this comic gets right into a lot of history of the Avengers, and you learn that J. Jonah Jameson wanted to be Bucky when he was a kid, and Jessica Jones is Jewel, Ty, and it's just interesting to see how comics can connect to continuity. And even though there's a lot of talking, there's still plenty of room for the art to breathe. It's not word bubble blast everywhere. But Jessica Jones exits a building, and she runs immediately smack dab into Iron Man, Captain America, and they are saying, "Hey, we need your help. Let's go figure it out." And basically, Iron Man and Cap are asking the same thing to Jessica Jones that J. Jonah Jameson was asking. But find out who these kids are. We got to get them shut down. We do not want kids getting hurt. We need to these sidekick things. It's dangerous if they'll run free. Now, the only challenge here is that we are basically 10 pages into the comic, and we've got a lot of talking about the Young Avengers. We haven't actually seen them anywhere, and so we're trying to see why we need to expose them. Hey, they're very polite. We're hearing all about them, but finally, on page 11, we get basically some terrorists have gone into a wedding of some kind, and they're robbing them. It's a good old robbery, and we get our first look at Kate Bishop here, who would one day become Hawkeye, before suddenly causing $1 million in property damage through the rose window. We get Hulkling, Patriot, Wiccan, and Iron Lad. We basically get them smashing in, and they start to stop the robbers who have guns. They beat them up real good, and then they start a fire, and they basically they're able to shut down the robbery. But it doesn't go without a hitch, as they get some Kate Bishop is taken as a hostage, but she's capable. She stabs the guy in the leg with one of the little star things that Patriot was throwing around, and we get some nice dialogue and some nice tension. They come out, and they're immediately mobbed by the press, and that basically their people are thankful, but at the same time, fanboys just destroyed the St. Patrick's Cathedral, and that's no good. So they escape out, and we learn a little bit about why they're doing it. They're doing it because first off, they want to do good. They have these powers. They feel compelled to actually help something in the world. But also, they recognize they made a mistake, that, running from the cops is not superhero behavior. and we need to be careful because there is a looming threat, and that's Kang. Kang the Conqueror is coming, and they know he's coming, and they have to be careful for that. So. They kind of they go off about they've got to get home before grandma notices he's gone. It's Patriot, and they basically wander away while Iron Lad steps into the Avengers mansion. He doesn't have a home for what it seems, and he's suddenly surprised by Iron Man and Captain America, and they say, what are you doing? And they have some simple back and forth. It's an honor, sir. And they talk about he basically, Iron Lad removes his helmet and he's young Kang. So that's kind of the twist of the issue set up, is that we've got young Kang kind of trying to stop himself, and we've got him that he's assembled a couple characters here, and Iron Patriot, of course, grandson of the kind of original Captain America. And there's a lot of there's legacy. This is a fairly quick series. It comes and goes, but it sets up a really nice legacy of heroes. And with all the back and forth Marvel has had with new heroes and changing things out, and they seem to get excited about creating new heroes and then instantly drop them. It is nice to see that by and large, with very few exceptions, the Young Avengers characters are still mostly in operation today. Wiccan and Hulkling are part of Empire, and they show up every now and then. They've been parts of teams. Kate Bishop, of course, Marvel is determined to get her to replace Hawkeye as a character. And so there's a couple of the characters that haven't been done as well. But by and large, the comic is a solid one. I mean, again, the art's beautiful. It sets up a really nice first run, and we get a Children's Crusade. We'll do that one too. Comic that is pretty nice, and then ultimately some relaunches and reboots with new characters and everything else. But it's nice if you've been kind of exhausted by some of where the Avengers and where Marvel has gone over the years, then it's a nice reminder that once upon a time Marvel knew how to launch a new series, and they did it really, really well, because this is a really beautiful looking series, and it tells a really solid story, tied into Marvel continuity, still trying to do its own thing, get you to really care about these characters, and that's really nice to see. Anyway, did you like this comic? Again, they would kind of drive it into the ground a little bit with some of the subsequent relaunches and what they would do with the characters, but at this stage, it was nice. It was something new, something different, and certainly on my end at least, much appreciated. So did you like it? Leave me a comment below, like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications if you feel like it. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.